How's it going, gamers? Luis here from Gaming Blog Network, continuing the top 10 must-own game series for each of the major platforms. Today we'll be looking at the PlayStation 4. And just as a reminder, these are mostly exclusives. I try to keep it that way for each of the list episodes for every platform. And these are games I've played before, so if there's a game that's not on this list, even though it's highly acclaimed, chances are I haven't played it before. And if you want to check out the recommendations for the other platforms like the Wii U, the 3DS, the Vita, the Xbox One, go check out that little I button at the corner of the screen and you can see the rest of the episodes in the series. And with all that said, let's get started.
PlayStation.
At number 10, we have Until Dawn. Until Dawn is essentially an interactive horror film. Have you ever seen a horror film with a serial killer and you're just internally yelling at the character to hide somewhere specifically? Well, this is the video game where you can actually do that. This game was made by Supermassive Games as an exclusive for the PlayStation 4. In terms of work they've done before, they've actually made DLC for a lot of the games in the Little Big Planet series. In Until Dawn, you play as a group of teenagers living in a cabin in the woods as they slowly realize they're being hunted down by a serial killer. If you played either Heavy Rain or Beyond Two Souls on the PS3, I think you'll find Until Dawn to have a very similar gameplay feel with the choice mechanics of The Walking Dead. There's even a few well-known celebrities in this game like Hayden Panettiere and Megan Martin. The fact that you're able to choose who basically lives and dies in the story is really interesting as you're able to craft your own story while you play the game. For number 9, we're going to go the retro route and we're going to pick Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight is a fantastic indie game. It may not be an exclusive to the PS4, but there is some additional content that's exclusive to the PS4. Shovel Knight is a 2D action side-scroller designed to look like a classic NES game. The game takes on inspiration from other classic NES games like DuckTales, The Legend of Zelda 2, and Mega Man. You play as Shovel Knight, a knight skilled in the art of chivalry of course. As you travel with your beloved Shield Knight, the two of you are separated by a cursed amulet that locks away Shovel Knight, setting up the start of your adventure to reunite with Shield Knight. On PlayStation platforms, you get an exclusive little boss battle with Kratos from the God of War series. If you're a fan of the classic NES side-scrollers, then you'll definitely love this game, as it does everything and literally everything to inspire that feeling once again. For number 8, I'm going to continue the indie route and go with Towerfall Ascension for the PS4. Towerfall Ascension was the most popular game on the Ouya micro console, and for good reason too. It was so addicting, it felt fun, competitive, just as much as a Smash Bros. Game. In fact, it sort of felt like a Smash Bros. Game but with archery mechanics. Essentially, the game plays as 4 players are controlling 4 different pixel archers in a battlefield trying to shoot each other. The arrows can range from a number of different effects like bomb arrows, arrows that release thorn vines, and arrows that can go through walls. On paper it seems like a very simple game, but it really is addictive, especially when you have a large group of friends over. Sadly, there isn't any form of online multiplayer because it primarily tries to be a great couch multiplayer game, and it does it really well. If you live with a large group of friends like I do while I'm in college with my roommates, this is the perfect game for you, or especially for any get together or party. It's actually coming to Vita too. For those of you that missed out on the PS3, number 7 is sure to be a pick for you. That's the Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection. The Nathan Drake Collection isn't necessarily a PS4 exclusive, but it does bring a collection of one of the best series of all time on the PS3 over to the PS4 for the best way to play the Uncharted series. This collection includes Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, all upgraded with the better tech specs that the PS4 has to offer. Now, all 3 PS3 games run at full 1080p with a solid 60 frames per second. The Uncharted series is well known for being an awesome cinematic adventure, and rightfully so. Play as treasure hunter Nathan Drake in the original trilogy of games in preparation for the 4th main installment in the series coming to the PS4 next year. For number 6, we have Infamous Second Son. Infamous Second Son was the 3rd installment in the Infamous series that didn't directly connect with the characters from the original series, but still was as great as the rest of the entries in the series. Play as Deslin, a Native American conduit with the power to copy other powers of conduits, as he takes on the DUP police force in Seattle trying to get rid of the conduits. Infamous Second Son is an action-adventure game with a decently sized open world that allowed you to explore this game's version of Seattle. There's also a morality system that allows you to choose between good and bad, each with their own endings. If you ever want to feel like a badass superhero in a GTA-like open world, then this is the game for you. At number 5, we have Resogun. Resogun was one of the first games to launch with the PS4, and by far it's one of the most beautiful games on the system. The gameplay is very similar to any other twin-stick shooter, although instead of being on a flat surface or on a large planet, You're actually playing on the 3D cylinder with waves of enemies attacking. Exploding the oncoming enemies around you along with other objects will show off the amazing visuals the game has to offer. Every time something explodes like a ship, the pixels creating the ship will fall apart, falling onto the ground, showing off the amazing physics system that the PS4 can actually do now. You can even create your own little ships with the Pixel Ship Creator. You can then share your creations online for others to download and vice versa. It's a really fun arcade game that should be in the library of all PS4 owners. Plus, the addition of a co-op multiplayer mode both locally and online is fantastic. Heck, if you even had PlayStation Plus when your PS4 launched, chances are you probably have this game already. For number 4, we have possibly one of the most challenging games this year, Bloodborne. Bloodborne is a pain in the butt, but boy is it satisfying when you actually beat a boss. Bloodborne is challenging, really challenging. The game is made by the people at From Software, the developer behind the Soul series on PlayStation 3. In Bloodborne you play as a hunter who's on a mission to find and destroy the origin of a blood disease spreading around town. You play the game in a third-person perspective as you use the hunter's arsenal to explore the town, searching for the pale blood. If you want a game that's really challenging but fair, this would be the game for you. At number 3, we have a game that combines two of my least favorite things in the world, soccer and racing. This is Rocket League. I think Rocket League is special because when you describe it to someone, it sounds completely stupid. Yeah, you play as an RC car trying to play soccer. Yeah, it sounds really weird, but once you play, you'll instantly get hooked. For me, I knew this game was special the moment when I played it and it combined two of my least favorite game genres, a soccer game and a racing game. Despite it combining them both though, Rocket League has me coming back to it every single month to play. Sometimes even with the awesome people that watch these videos and the live streams. Shout out to the GvN fam. At number 2, we have my favorite game on the PS3, The Last of Us Remastered for the PS4. The Last of Us was my favorite game on the PlayStation 3. Its story was amazing, memorable, and had me questioning my morals by the end of it. Gameplay was great. Tackle enemies head on or use stealth to take on enemies one by one. The choice was yours. And finally, the memorable characters like Joel and Ellie make for a fantastic and engaging story. So when Sony announced that this game would be getting a remaster at 1080p with 60 frames per second on the PS4, I didn't hesitate to buy this game a second time for my new console. If you haven't had the chance to play this game at all, I couldn't recommend it enough to you. For those of you that already had it on PS3, this version comes with all the story DLC for free, along with a better aiming feeling just because it runs at 60 frames per second. And finally, number 1, Journey. Journey was another game on PS3 that took a very special place in my heart. It may sound a little bit corny, but the name really does capture what it is, a journey. It's really hard to describe this game to another player just because it really is up to the interpretation of the player. All I can say is that this 2 to 3 hour game is best played entirely in one sitting with a good pair of headphones to enjoy the fantastic, and I mean truly marvelous soundtrack. In Journey, you play as this cloaked figure who is going through different terrains leading up to a light on a mountain. What the journey means is totally up to you to find out. This game was amazing on the PS3, it's even better in full HD at 60 frames per second on the PS4. It's one of the few games I've ever given out a 10 out of 10. Thank you all very much for watching the video. I hope it helped you out with some video game recommendations, especially for those of you that just picked up a PS4 this month for the holidays. Now you guys have a concise list of games you really need to try out with your new console. And for those of you that already had a PS4, let me know your game recommendations in the comment section below. I'd love to hear about some new games that I haven't tried out yet. And if you also have a Wii U, a 3DS, a Vita, or an Xbox One, be sure to check out the rest of the series with that little I button at the corner of the screen. And if you want an easy list of all the games I've mentioned in this video and the Amazon link to them, you can check out the description below along with all my social network links and my gaming usernames. Thank you all very much for watching and being some awesome viewers. Have a happy holiday, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.